The mockery. The grand hall of the Galactic Council shimmered with light reflected off alien architecture. Captain Alex Hoffman stood rigid, his face a careful mask hiding his frustration. Next to him, Science Officer Olivia Grant clenched her jaw as the laughter echoed through the chamber. And so the humans believe they can join our deep space exploration initiatives with their, what do you call them? Ah yes, fusion drives. Ambassador Craxus of the Zentari Dominion fluttered his gill membranes in amusement. My species mastered such technology before your ancestors discovered fire. More laughter rippled across the assembly. Representatives from 12 advanced civilizations watched the human delegation with expressions ranging from amusement to outright mockery. We understand our technology has room for improvement, Alex said, keeping his voice steady. But humanity has always excelled at innovation when faced with challenges. Innovation, a crystalline being chimed from the upper tier. Is that what you call your clumsy attempts at faster-than-light travel? Your ships barely breached the light barrier while leaving radiation trails across 3 systems. Olivia stepped forward. Our newest vessels have reduced emissions by 87% since. Enough, interrupted Counselor Vex, the massive insectoid chairman. The Galactic Council appreciates Earth's enthusiasm, but your application for full membership is denied. You may continue as an observational species for another century, at which time your progress will be reevaluated. Alex felt his cheeks burn. 100 more years of being treated like children playing with dangerous toys. 100 years of restricted travel zones and limited access to resources. We accept the Council's decision, he said, the words bitter in his mouth. As they left the chamber, Olivia whispered, "They don't know, do they? About Horizon." Alex gave an almost imperceptible shake of his head. The Horizon Project remained humanity's most closely guarded secret. Not even their alien allies knew of its existence. Back aboard their diplomatic vessel, the Endeavor, Communications Officer Frank Miller approached with a worried expression. "Captain, we've received an encrypted transmission from Earth Command. Priority Alpha." Alex frowned. In my quarters. Once alone, he activated the secure terminal. Admiral Linda Warren's face appeared, her expression grave. "Captain Hoffman, you are to abort your diplomatic mission immediately. Return to Earth at maximum speed. Communication blackout protocol is now in effect." "Admiral, what's happened?" "Not over this channel, Alex, but it's time. Project Horizon has reached completion." His heart raced. The prototype is operational. A rare smile crossed the Admiral's face. "More than operational. It works beyond our wildest expectations. We need you and Science Officer Grant to command it." "Command? But I thought..." "Things have changed. Our long-range sensors have detected unusual activity near the Proxima Centauri outpost. We believe the Zentari are mobilizing." Alex's blood went cold. Despite their advanced technology, the Zentari were known for eliminating potential competitors before they could become threats. "How long do we have?" "Unknown, but intelligence suggests weeks, not months." "Get back here, Captain. Earth needs you." The transmission ended. Alex sat in silence for several moments before calling Olivia and Frank to his quarters. He shared the news in hushed tones. "So they're finally making their move," Olivia said. "Right when we're ready to show our hand." Alex gazed out the viewport at the gleaming alien space station. All those years of laughter and condescension. They think they know what humans are capable of. Frank looked nervous. "The Horizon vessel, is it really as revolutionary as they claim?" "If it works as designed," Alex replied, "it will change everything. Not just for us, but for the entire galaxy." He turned from the window, determination hardening his features. "Set course for Earth. Maximum speed." As the Endeavor broke orbit, none of the advanced alien observers noticed anything unusual about the departing human vessel. Just another primitive ship limping home after a diplomatic failure. They would not be laughing much longer. The revelation. Alex stared through the viewport as their shuttle descended through Europa's icy atmosphere. The frozen moon had always been a place of scientific interest, but he never suspected it concealed humanity's greatest secret. Approaching final descent, Olivia announced from the pilot's seat, receiving navigation coordinates for the hidden entrance. Below them, a massive crack in the ice suddenly illuminated and parted, revealing a cavernous opening large enough for their shuttle. As they passed through layers of security measures, a vast underground complex came into view. The facility extended deep beneath the surface, carved into the moon itself. "This is impossible," Frank muttered. "How did we build this without anyone knowing?" Their shuttle docked at a platform where a small welcoming committee awaited. A tall man with disheveled gray hair and intense eyes stepped forward as they disembarked. "Captain Hoffman, I'm Daniel Collins, Chief Engineer of the Horizon Project. Welcome to Darkside Facility." After brief introductions, Daniel led them through a series of security checkpoints. "For 15 years, we've worked here in total secrecy," he explained. "Only 300 people know this place exists." "Admiral Warren said the prototype is operational," Alex said. Daniel smiled. "More than operational. It's ready." They entered an enormous chamber that opened before them like a cathedral. Suspended in the center, floating above a complex array of equipment, was a ship unlike anything Alex had ever seen. It seemed to shimmer, parts of its hull appearing to exist in multiple places simultaneously. "My God," Olivia whispered. "That's the appropriate reaction," Daniel said proudly. "Meet the Defiance, first and only seventh-dimensional vessel ever created." The ship was smaller than Alex expected, perhaps twice the size of their shuttle, with a design that somehow confused the eye. Its hull featured intricate patterns that seemed to move when not directly observed. "I don't understand," Frank said. "What's seventh-dimensional mean exactly?" Daniel gestured to Olivia. "I believe your science officer might have some idea." Olivia nodded slowly. "Conventional physics deals with 3 dimensions of space and 1 of time. Some theoretical models suggest higher dimensions exist, but they're thought to be microscopically small, curled up within our reality." "Precisely," Daniel said. "But what if they aren't small at all? What if they're everywhere, but we lack the senses to perceive them? What if we could build a vessel that exists partially in those dimensions? That would be—" Alex trailed off. "Revolutionary," Daniel finished. "A ship operating in higher dimensions could move through our conventional space in ways that defy normal physics. Distance becomes relative. Solid matter becomes permeable. Energy requirements drop to almost nothing." He led them to a control room overlooking the Defiance. Inside, 2 people were running diagnostics. A woman with dark hair pulled back in a tight bun, and a broad-shouldered man examining holographic displays. Navigation specialist Natalie Rivera and tactical officer Chris Boyd, Daniel introduced them. "The final members of your crew." "Our crew?" Alex asked, surprised. Admiral Warren emerged from a side door. "Yes, Captain. You'll be commanding the Defiance on its maiden voyage." "When?" Alex asked. The Admiral's expression darkened. "Immediately. Our worst fears have been confirmed. The Zentari haven't come alone. They've formed a coalition with several other species. A fleet of over 50 warships has been detected passing Neptune's orbit." "That's impossible," Frank protested. "Their closest base is light years away." "They've been planning this for some time," the Admiral said grimly. "Intelligence suggests they intend to make Earth an example to other upstart species." "How long do we have?" Olivia asked. 36 hours, maybe less. The Defiance is our only hope. It must be ready." Daniel Collins looked at the shimmering vessel. "It is ready. The question is, are you?" The launch. Alarms blared throughout the Europa facility. Personnel rushed through corridors as red emergency lights cast everything in a crimson glow. In the command center, Admiral Warren studied the holographic display showing the approaching alien armada. "They've increased speed," she announced grimly. New estimate puts them in Earth orbit in 14 hours, not 36. Alex stood beside the Defiance with his newly assembled crew. The ship seemed to pulse with energy, as if eager to break free from its moorings. "We're not ready," Natalie said, checking her navigation systems. "The dimensional drive needs at least 10 more hours of calibration." Daniel Collins shook his head. "We don't have 10 hours. We barely have 10 minutes. He handed Alex a small device that resembled a silver egg. "This contains all the theoretical data on 7D physics. If something happens to the facility." "Nothing's going to happen," Alex assured him, though his voice lacked conviction. Olivia approached, her face pale. "Earth Defense Command reports the first wave of alien scouts has already reached Mars. They're not even bothering with communication attempts." Chris Boyd finished securing weapons systems. "Captain, whatever we're doing, we need to do it now." The deck beneath them shuddered as distant explosions echoed through the moon's ice shell. Europa's surface defenses had engaged. "They found us," Frank said, his voice tight with fear. "How did they find us so quickly?" Admiral Warren's voice came over the intercom. "Captain Hoffman, launch immediately. We'll hold them off as long as we can." Alex looked at his crew. 4 people chosen to pilot humanity's greatest achievement and possibly last hope. Everyone aboard. Now. As they entered the Defiance, the ship's interior adjusted around them. Seats formed from seemingly nothing. Control interfaces materialized beneath their fingertips. The walls pulsed with soft blue light. "Boarding complete," Chris reported. "Sealing access points." Outside, chaos erupted as security teams engaged with boarding parties. Through the viewports, Alex could see flashes of weapons fire and the distinctive shapes of Zentari shock troops. "Daniel," Alex called out, seeing the engineer still standing on the platform. "Come with us." Daniel smiled sadly. "Someone has to ensure the launch sequence completes." He began typing commands into his terminal. Besides, the dimensional physics would overwhelm a 5th passenger. The ship is calibrated for 4. The facility rocked with another explosion, closer this time. "All systems online," Olivia announced. "Dimensional drive powering up." Natalie looked up from her station. "Captain, we still don't know if the navigational systems will function correctly in higher dimensions." "We're about to find out," Alex replied, strapping himself into the command seat. Outside, Daniel finished the launch sequence and gave them a final salute before running toward the command center. The moorings holding the Defiance released with a thunderous clang. "Initiating dimensional shift," Olivia said, her hands dancing across controls that seemed to exist in multiple places at once. The ship hummed, the sound rising in pitch until it passed beyond human hearing. Strange patterns of light raced across the hull. Everyone felt a curious sensation, as if their bodies were being gently pulled in impossible directions. "Something's happening," Frank called out. "I can see things I can't describe." The Defiance began to shimmer, parts of it seeming to fold into spaces that shouldn't exist. Through the viewports, they watched as Zentari troops broke into the main chamber, weapons raised. "Full power," Alex ordered. Olivia pushed the dimensional drive to its limits. "Captain, I'm not sure what will happen when we—" Her words cut off as reality itself seemed to bend around them. The ship vibrated, then stretched, then appeared to exist in multiple states simultaneously. The last thing they saw of normal space was the shocked expressions on the alien soldiers' faces as the Defiance simply ceased to exist in their dimension. Then came darkness, followed by colors no human had ever seen before. They had entered the 7th dimension. The journey had begun. The awakening. Alex opened his eyes to impossible colors. The control room of the Defiance shimmered with patterns that seemed to move both forward and backward in time simultaneously. He could see his crew, but they appeared different. Outlines blurred, features shifting, as if they existed in multiple states at once. "Is everyone alive?" he called out, his voice creating ripples in the air that transformed into geometric shapes. "I think so," Olivia responded, staring at her hands. "But something's happened to us." Each member of the crew glowed with a faint aura that pulsed in rhythm with their thoughts. Frank touched the wall of the ship, and the material responded to him, creating a window where his fingers had been. "The ship," Natalie whispered. "I can feel it in my mind." She was right. Alex suddenly realized he could sense every part of the Defiance, as if it were an extension of his own body. The dimensional drive hummed at the core, but it wasn't just machinery anymore. It had become something organic, alive. "The transition into the seventh dimension has altered our neural patterns," Olivia theorized, studying readouts that floated in the air without any visible display. "We've partially merged with the ship's systems." Chris moved to what had been the tactical station, only to discover the controls had vanished. Instead, when he thought about weapons systems, information flooded directly into his consciousness. "Captain," he said urgently, "we're not alone here." Alex sensed it too. Outside the ship, though outside no longer seemed like the right concept, entities moved through the dimensional landscape. They weren't physical in any conventional sense, appearing more like complex mathematical equations given form. "They're approaching," Frank said nervously. "Are they hostile?" "I don't think they have concepts like hostile," Olivia replied. "They just exist. This is their natural realm." Alex concentrated, and a viewing portal formed in the air. Through it, they could see beings of pure energy and thought moving through the seventh dimension. The entities seemed curious about the Defiance, circling it like fish investigating a new object in their pond. "Can we communicate with them?" Alex wondered aloud. The moment he had the thought, one of the entities moved closer. It was beautiful and terrifying, a swirling vortex of consciousness without physical form. When it touched the ship's hull, everyone on board felt a presence enter their minds. Asterisk solid beings. Physical thought carriers. "How strange you are, asterisk." The words weren't spoken but understood directly by each crew member. "We're humans." Alex projected his thoughts outward. "We've entered your dimension seeking safe passage." Asterisk dimension. Limiting concept. All is one here. "You flee predators in the narrow plans, asterisk." Images flooded Alex's mind. The Zentari fleet, Earth under attack, humanity fighting for survival. The entity had somehow extracted these concerns directly from his memory. Asterisk, we have observed the narrow beings for eons. They crawl through restricted spaces, never seeing the full pattern asterisk. More entities gathered around the ship, their curiosity growing. One by one, they touched the Defiance, each connection expanding the crew's understanding of 7D space. Natalie gasped as knowledge of navigation through this realm suddenly became clear to her. "Captain, I know how to move us through here now." It's like swimming through thought itself." Olivia's eyes widened. "The dimensional beings are teaching us. They're showing us how their reality works." The primary entity communicated again. Asterisk, your vessel is primitive yet advanced. Built for transition, not existence. You cannot remain long asterisk. We need to return to our dimension, Alex explained. But we need to help our people. Asterisk, the narrow ones who pursue you cannot perceive these paths. This gives you advantage asterisk. Chris suddenly understood the tactical implications. Captain, they're showing us how to re-enter normal space anywhere we choose. We could appear directly in the heart of enemy territory. Asterisk, choose wisely, thought carriers. The path between becomes harder to find after each crossing asterisk. As the entities continued sharing their knowledge, the crew of the Defiance learned to navigate and control the ship through pure thought. Their consciousness expanded, perceiving realities that human minds were never designed to comprehend. We're ready, Alex announced finally. It's time to show the galaxy what happens when you back humans into a corner. The entities drifted back, watching as the Defiance prepared to return to conventional space. Asterisk, we will observe. The outcome interests us asterisk. The return. The central command vessel of the alien coalition hovered above Earth's atmosphere. Admiral Vex Terrell of the Zentari stood on the bridge, his gill membranes fluttering with satisfaction as he watched the planet's orbital defenses crumble one by one. The humans fight well for primitive beings, his second-in-command observed. Irrelevant, Vex Terrell replied. Their technology is 3 centuries behind ours. They never should have been allowed to spread beyond their solar system. The tactical officer interrupted. Admiral, we're detecting an unusual energy signature near the 5th planet. Jupiter? What kind of signature? Before anyone could answer, alarms blared across the bridge. Space itself seemed to ripple and fold between the Zentari fleet, creating a distortion that defied their sensors. Unknown vessel materializing. The tactical officer shouted, I can't get a proper reading. The Defiance emerged from higher dimensions directly in the heart of the alien armada. To the Zentari sensors, it appeared as a shifting, impossible object that seemed to exist in multiple locations simultaneously. Inside the ship, Alex and his crew had returned to something resembling their normal forms, though faint auras still surrounded them. And their eyes glowed with dimensional energy. Position confirmed, Natalie reported. We're exactly where we wanted to be. In the middle of their command fleet, Olivia studied the sensor readings. They're scanning us, but getting contradictory data. To them, we must appear as a glitch in reality. Open a channel to the alien flagship, Alex ordered. Frank concentrated, and the communication system responded to his thoughts. Channel open, Captain. On the Zentari command ship, Admiral Vex Terrell watched in disbelief as the human vessel seemed to phase partially in and out of existence, breaking every law of physics he understood. This is Captain Alex Hoffman of the Earth vessel Defiance, a voice announced over their communication system. Your attack on our world ends now. Vex Terrell regained his composure. A single ship, no matter how unusual, cannot stand against our fleet. Your bravery is noted but futile. You misunderstand, Admiral. Alex replied calmly. This isn't bravery. This is a demonstration. At that moment, Chris activated the Defiance's defensive systems with a mere thought. Wave after wave of dimensional energy pulsed outward, passing through the shields of the alien vessels as if they didn't exist. Weapon systems throughout the fleet suddenly went offline. Power cores stabilized into inert states, and propulsion systems ceased functioning. 50 ships rendered helpless in seconds. What have you done? Vex Terrell demanded, panic evident in his voice for the first time. We've temporarily phased your weapon and propulsion systems into a different dimensional state, Alex explained. They still exist, but not in a way you can access. Olivia's voice joined the transmission. We could have done the same to your life support systems. Remember that. On the bridge of the Defiance, Frank monitored the reactions spreading through the alien fleet. They're in disarray, Captain. The coalition members are blaming each other, accusing one another of sabotage. Alex nodded and addressed the aliens again. Admiral Vex Terrell, the Galactic Council believed humans were primitive beings, barely worth acknowledging. Now you understand how wrong that assessment was. This technology, Vex Terrell said, his voice quieter now. It's impossible. Not impossible. Just beyond your understanding. Humanity has breached the higher dimensions while your civilizations remained trapped in conventional space. Natalie whispered, Captain, I'm detecting new ships entering the system. Reinforcements for their fleet. Let them come, Alex replied before turning back to the communication. Admiral, here are our terms. Withdraw your forces immediately. Acknowledge Earth's sovereignty and our right to explore space without restriction. In return, we won't demonstrate what happens when we use this technology offensively. The Defiance began to shimmer again, parts of it seemingly folding into unseen dimensions. You have 6 hours to comply, Alex concluded. After that, we'll be forced to show you what a 7th-dimensional attack actually looks like. Before Vex Terrell could respond, the Defiance vanished completely from normal space, leaving behind only confusion and fear among the once confident invaders. The confrontation. The Grand Chamber of Neutral Station Alpha hummed with tension. Representatives from 12 advanced civilizations sat in rising tiers around a central platform, their expressions ranging from curiosity to outright hostility. After the Defiance's demonstration, the Galactic Council had hastily arranged this emergency meeting. Alex and Olivia stood on the central platform, alone but unafraid. They had changed since their journey through higher dimensions. Their skin occasionally rippled with subtle patterns of light, and their eyes held depths that seemed to look beyond conventional reality. "We recognize Captain Alex Hoffman and Science Officer Olivia Grant of Earth," announced the Council mediator, a tall, willowy being with silvery skin. "You have been granted audience to discuss recent events." Ambassador Craxus of the Zentari leaned forward, his gill membranes flaring with anger. "There is nothing to discuss. The humans have developed illegal weaponry that threatens galactic stability." "Illegal by whose standards?" Alex asked calmly. "The rules you created while excluding us from the conversation." Olivia gestured, and a small portion of space above her palm seemed to fold in on itself, creating a miniature demonstration of dimensional manipulation. Several council members gasped. "Humanity didn't develop a weapon," she explained. "We discovered a fundamental property of reality that your civilizations overlooked. The seventh dimension has always existed. We simply learned to access it." "Impossible," stated a crystalline being. "Our scientists have explored all theoretical dimensions." "Your theoretical models were incomplete," Olivia replied. "You were so certain of your superior knowledge that you never questioned your basic assumptions." The mediator raised a hand for calm as murmurs spread through the chamber. "What exactly does Earth want from this council?" Alex stepped forward. "Recognition as equals. Access to the same resources and territories as other spacefaring species, and an immediate end to all hostilities against human colonies. You demand equality while threatening us with superior technology." Craxus scoffed. "This is extortion." "No," Alex said firmly. "This is a correction of balance. For too long, your coalition has used your technological advantage to bully younger species. That advantage no longer exists." A representative of the Polaran hegemony, a species known for their pragmatism, spoke up. "The humans offer a valid point. Perhaps it is time to reconsider our approach to emerging civilizations." As the debate continued, Chris's voice came through the small communicator in Alex's ear. "Captain, the Defiance is detecting unusual energy patterns. Something's happening on the station's lower levels." Alex maintained his composure while whispering to Olivia. "Stay alert. Something's wrong." The mediator called for a brief recess. As council members filed out to consult with their governments, a delegation of Zentari approached Alex and Olivia. "Captain Hoffman," the lead Zentari said with unexpected courtesy, "my government wishes to discuss private terms. Perhaps we could speak in our designated chambers." Alex sensed the trap but saw an opportunity. "Lead the way." They followed the Zentari down several levels to a secure area. The moment the doors closed, energy fields activated, creating a containment barrier around them. "Did you really think we would surrender our galactic position to primitives?" Craxus emerged from a side room, flanked by armed guards. "Your dimensional technology will soon belong to the Zentari." "You still don't understand," Olivia said, seemingly unconcerned by their predicament. "The technology isn't something you can take. It's become part of us." Craxus smiled coldly. "Then we will take you apart to study it. Already, our forces are moving to capture your precious Defiance." Alex exchanged a glance with Olivia. They had anticipated betrayal. "Your forces won't find the Defiance where they expect it," Alex said calmly. "And as for taking us apart..." He closed his eyes briefly, concentrating. The containment field surrounding them suddenly wavered as reality itself seemed to bend. Alex and Olivia's forms began to shimmer, parts of them shifting into higher dimensions. "What are you doing?" Craxus demanded, backing away. "Stop them." Guards fired their weapons, but the energy beams passed harmlessly through the partially phased humans. "This meeting is over," Alex announced as both he and Olivia began to disappear from conventional space. But the real demonstration of humanity's capabilities is just beginning. The New Order. The Defiance materialized above New Haven, the largest human colony outside the solar system. For 3 years, the settlement had suffered under Zentari occupation. Below, colonists looked up in wonder as the sky rippled and folded, revealing a ship unlike any they had ever seen. "Life signs confirm over 12,000 human colonists," Natalie reported, "and approximately 2,000 Zentari troops." Alex stood at the center of the command area, his form now permanently altered by extended exposure to the 7th dimension. The lines between his body and the ship had blurred. He could extend his consciousness into the Defiance's systems at will. "Begin evacuation protocols," he ordered. Frank broadcast the message. Throughout the colony, every communication device simultaneously activated. Alex's voice reached every colonist. "This is Captain Hoffman of the Earth vessel Defiance. Remain calm and gather at designated public spaces. Liberation has arrived." The Zentari garrison responded exactly as expected. They mobilized their forces and activated planetary defense systems. Their weapons locked onto the Defiance and fired. Energy beams and projectiles passed harmlessly through the ship's hull as it partially phased between dimensions. "They never learn," Chris commented, monitoring the attack. "Should we disable their systems?" "Not necessary," Alex replied. "Olivia, begin the extraction." Olivia closed her eyes, merging her consciousness with the dimensional drive. Beneath her guidance, the ship extended its field downward, creating 7D corridors that reached the colony's gathering points. To the amazed colonists, it appeared as shimmering tunnels of light stretching from the sky to the ground. "This will feel strange," Frank's voice informed the colonists through their communication devices. "But it's perfectly safe. Walk into the light and keep moving." The first brave colonists stepped into the dimensional corridors and found themselves instantly transported aboard the Defiance, arriving in expansion spaces that hadn't existed minutes before. The ship grew and adapted as hundreds, then thousands of people were evacuated. Zentari troops attempted to stop the evacuation, but their weapons couldn't affect the dimensional corridors. Some tried to follow the humans, only to find themselves unable to enter the 7D spaces. From orbit, other alien vessels arrived, surrounding the Defiance. "Coalition fleet requesting permission to open fire," Chris announced. "They're asking if we've taken enough of a risk with this rescue." Alex smiled. "Tell them to watch carefully." The Defiance pulsed with energy as the final colonists were brought aboard. Then, with a mere thought from Alex, the ship expanded its dimensional field to encompass the entire colony installation. Buildings, infrastructure, even the soil beneath, everything phased partially out of normal space, becoming inaccessible to the Zentari troops. The aliens found themselves standing on bare bedrock, the colony they had occupied simply gone. "New Haven has been completely extracted," Olivia confirmed. "Not a single human left behind." In the following weeks, the pattern repeated across 27 occupied human worlds. Without firing a single shot, the Defiance liberated every human settlement. Coalition forces could only watch helplessly as their carefully established footholds vanished before their eyes. The Galactic Council convened an emergency session. This time, humanity wasn't requesting admission. They were dictating terms. "The Coalition's aggressive expansion ends today," Alex declared to the assembled representatives. "Earth isn't seeking revenge or domination. We want peace, but peace between equals." He revealed the existence of 5 more 7D vessels nearing completion. Humanity will use this technology to ensure freedom for all developing species previously suppressed by the Coalition. Many council members who had once mocked humans now pledged alliance with Earth. Species that had suffered similar treatment saw an opportunity for protection under humanity's new dimensional umbrella. In the final moments of the session, Alex addressed the silent Centauri delegation. The laughter has stopped, Ambassador Craxus, but the hand of friendship remains extended, if you're wise enough to take it. Aboard the Defiance, preparations were already underway for its next journey. The crew had discovered something unexpected during their dimensional travels, indications of realms beyond even the 7th dimension. "Where do we go from here, Captain?" Natali asked as they observed Earth from orbit. Alex gazed at the view screen, seeing not just physical space, but the layered dimensions beyond. "Everywhere," he answered. The 7th dimension was just the beginning.